Hello and welcome. I am Dr. Lara, a clinical pharmacist specializing in functional medicine, as well as a certified yoga teacher and Reiki master. I run a truly integrative health coaching practice encompassing functional medicine lab testing, yoga and meditation, and a sprinkling of Reiki energy medicine. Join me here on Light Body Radio to break through your health plateau and come into alignment with your natural vitality. Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Light Body Radio, and this is a wellness illuminated episode with just me and you out there, the listener, and it's so wonderful to be with you today. So welcome back. And today I want to dive into the powerful and transformative practice known as Kundalini Yoga. I have recently finished my Kundalini Yoga teacher training, which I'm super excited about. And so I wanted to start bringing more information and more knowledge and more light into the world of Kundalini Yoga. It's been such a powerful and transformative practice for me. And so anything that I find that helps me, I try to bring forward to see if you resonate with it and if it'll help you. And if you don't resonate with it, no big deal. So whether you're a yogi yourself or just curious about the spiritual world, Kundalini offers something unique. A way to awaken your inner energy, heighten your awareness, and find a deeper sense of self and really cultivate that inner relationship with yourself. And I think that that's one of the things I like about Kundalini so much personally, is that it really focuses more on the spiritual practice aspect of yoga instead of the physical aspects. It's definitely a physical practice, but there is much more of a spiritual self-care, self-connection, mindset focus to it. And so we're going to dive deeper into that today. So if you've heard about Kundalini Yoga and you aren't quite sure what it is or why it's so powerful, this is the episode for you. So let's get down to it and unpack some of this stuff. And sort of understand what it is, how it works, and how it can unlock the inner potential of both your mind, body, and spirit. So let's start with the foundational question. What is Kundalini? Kundalini is a Sanskrit word that translates to coiled or circular. It represents a form of primal energy that lies dormant at the base of the spine. In the yogic tradition, this energy is depicted as a coiled serpent waiting to be awakened. And the idea is that through specific practices, we can unlock this energy, allowing it to rise through our chakras or energy centers, up the spine, and ultimately to the crown of the head. And when this energy is fully awakened, it's said to lead to enlightenment, expanded consciousness, and profound personal transformation. So what is exactly Kundalini Yoga, now that we've sort of explained what Kundalini itself is? So Kundalini Yoga is a dynamic form of yoga that focuses on awakening this dormant energy. And unlike other forms of yoga like hatha or vinyasa, which often emphasize the physical poses and maybe some breath work, Kundalini Yoga incorporates a unique combination of movement, breath, meditation, chanting, and mudras. Each session or each section of a full yoga session is known as a kriya, and it's designed to move energy through the body in a specific way, opening up the energy channels or the nadis in the body, which will also help balance the energy centers or chakras, and therefore elevating your awareness in some way, shape, or form. So it's all about bringing awareness to different areas of your body, coming it to tune in with different aspects of your body and starting to understand what a blockage feels like, what an imbalance feels like. Oftentimes we already know what that feels like because it's painful or it's tight, or maybe we might call it tweaked or pulled or injured. Um, and when we bring attention, breath work, and some gentle movement, then we can balance that area. And so, therefore, elevating the awareness, moving the energy through, and really creating an aspect of self healing. So, one of the key principles behind Kundalini Yoga is that it works on both the physical and subtle bodies, meaning it's not just about physical strength or flexibility, but also about the mind, emotions, and your energy. And this makes Kundalini Yoga particularly powerful for those seeking a deeper connection to themselves or looking to overcome some mental and emotional blocks. Kundalini can be very powerful. It has been known to really, if not guided in the most aware manner, people can really have what they call a Kundalini awakening. Can really like sort of blow the top of their head off, meaning like it opens up those upper chakras, and it can kind of possibly be traumatic if not done, in a healthy, controlled, respectful way. And so it's really important to, I think, bring gentleness and a lot of awareness, and not necessarily caution, but just, I think I'm just going to keep that word gentleness with yourself to the practice. And so while there's a lot of powerful breath work and movement, repetitive movements that we do within Kundalini Yoga, I always encourage my students to go at their own pace, go with what feels good to your body. And just like within any yoga or, any practice, you can push yourself to a point, but also know when to stop and when to back off, or when to sort of, hold steady where you are. So now let's talk a little bit about the origins of Kundalini Yoga. Kundalini practices date back thousands of years, rooted in ancient Indian teachings and spiritual tradition. For a long time, these teachings were kept secret. They were passed down from teacher to student, often reserved for those dedicated to a life of study, meditation, and reclusion. And it was in the late 60s that Yogi Bhajan brought Kundalini Yoga to the West, believing that people everywhere could benefit from this powerful technology, especially in a fast-paced modern world, Western world. So Yogi Bhajan is known as the one that brought Kundalini Yoga to the West. And he taught that Kundalini Yoga could be a practical tool to help people cope with stress, process emotions, process trauma, find inner peace, no matter their background or experience. And his teachings have inspired a global movement, with many people offering Kundalini Yoga today as a pathway to healing and self-realization. So you might be wondering, what does a Kundalini class look like? Or what is it? What will you experience in a class? So classes often begin with a mantra to center and focus the mind, and we chant Ong Namo Gurudev Namo, which means I bow to the creative wisdom, I bow to the divine inner teacher within. And this helps us tune in to the higher self and set the intention for the practice. And so again, this is one of the things that drew me to the practice, was this coupling of the spiritual piece. Technically, all yoga is a spiritual practice. There are 8 limbs of yoga, and the asana, the movement, is just one of the limbs. The asana is what you do in a vinyasa class or a Bikram class or a hatha class. That's the asana, the movement, the physical postures. But there's 7 other limbs to yoga, and yoga itself is a spiritual practice, but not so much of that is focused on in the Western incarnation of yoga as it stands today. But I think we're starting to see a shift in that, and Kundalini really embraces that spiritual side of the practice, which is, again, what drew me to it. So after you have tuned in and you've you've opened sacred space, you've called in your inner teacher, your inner wisdom within, then you move through a series of postures, breathwork, and meditative practices. And the breath work is known as pranayama, is an essential part of Kundalini. And each Kriya will often include specific breathing techniques. You might have heard of breath of fire, for example, which is a rapid rhythmic breath to generate energy and heat in the body. There's also long, slow, deep breath. There's barrel breathing. There's lots of different types of breathing. And there might also be chants and meditations and mudras. All of these are intended to, again, calm the mind, shift the energy, shift your focus. And you'll also usually be asked to focus your eyes at a certain point. So whether it's your eyes are closed, a lot of Kundalini yoga is practiced with the eyes closed because we want that focus to be inward. And so you'll be asked to close your eyes, focus inward, and you might be asked to focus on your third eye point, or slightly close your eyes and focus down at the point of the tip of your nose. Or there's other kriyas that ask you to focus at your crown chakra, which is the center of the top of your head. So depending on the purpose of the kriya, this combination of movement, breath work, and what we call it the drishti point, the focus, will really decide and impact how the energy is moved, awakened, shifted, even transmuted. And so you go through a series of these kriyas. Usually you have a warm up, then you'll have like some kriyas that create heat, and then towards the end of the practice you'll have a longer meditation. And so that's also a common theme in most traditions of different styles of yoga. Is yoga, the asana is preparing you for meditation. And so you're allowing your body to do these movements, to do all this breath work, sort of to get it all out, so you prepare yourself to be ready to be still and to be ready to bring that attention inward and to meditate. And so there is always a meditation included in a Kundalini yoga class. There can be more than one, and they could range anywhere from 3 minutes to 22 minutes, depending on what it is, and again, the intention of it. But and usually the meditations are towards the end. And then after the meditation, then you have savasana. And within the Kundalini yoga tradition, we usually like to match the period of savasana with the same amount of time as your activity. And so you might also have many savasanas sprinkled throughout the practice. Most Kundalini classes are traditionally 90 minutes. Of course, you can break any of the kriyas up into smaller, again, like I said, 3 to 22-minute practices, if that's what fits within your lifestyle and your day. And, of course, if you can do like a 30 to 60-minute practice, then that's great. But essentially, it's the fact that you're coming to your mat with the intention of, again, calling in your higher self, your inner wisdom, your inner teacher, and really dedicating time to uncovering this self-awareness, getting to know your body, getting to know where your energy is that day and where you want to take it. A lot of this has to do with your intention and what you would like to either accomplish or see shifted or transmuted. And so it's very personal, and it can really be anything you want it to be. And I love that aspect about it too. And so there's also chanting or meditations to calm the mind within, and they're all Sanskrits. Not all, most of them are Sanskrit chants. And so the ancient sacred language of Sanskrit, and we know that sound also heals, and sound vibrates at different frequencies based on the words and the notes. And so we also use this sound as part of the approach, the multidimensional approach to shifting the energy. And so Kundalini yoga is definitely multidimensional. It's multimodal, if you think about it that way, where, again, you're meditating, you're chanting, you're moving your body, but you're also having integrating aspects of stillness and awareness, intention focused practice. So it's it's so rich and beautiful, and that's why I love it. And I'm excited to be bringing you more of it. But just to keep going into our introduction here, so what makes Kundalini Yoga especially unique is how it integrates so many different elements into one cohesive experience. Like I said, you're moving, you're breathing, you're chanting, and all of these elements work together to bring the body, mind, and spirit into harmony. And unlike some other forms of yoga, Kundalini can yield benefits fairly quickly. Many people report feeling a sense of clarity, peace, bliss, even just after a few practices, like a few practices within one day. So even as little as 3 minutes, you can see a shift in your state of mind and your body. So, of course, the journey of fully awakening the Kundalini energy takes time and dedication. And, like I said, gentleness, because you don't want to go at it too fast or too hard, or, like with these Western minds, sort of like a bull in a china shop, because it can be quite jarring and possibly even traumatic if you overdo it. But each class provides tools to deepen your personal practice and connect with your own spirit. So the other thing that people might at first might be a little put off or shy about Kundalini Yoga is the chanting, um, or the breath work. I think breath work is becoming more and more understood and at least familiar in the Western world, but the chanting maybe could be still quite foreign, but that's okay, because most of the time, one of the things again that I love about Kundalini is that it incorporates music. I love music. It incorporates sound, and it's so therapeutic and it's so healing, and it can again be so powerful for shifting your energy. And so you're invited to chant along, but it's not required. And so, of course, your teacher will provide you with any, words that you need to know. They'll guide you through that. There's usually always some sort of song that mirrors the chant, so you can sing along, you can hear it. So even if you're not familiar or you don't feel comfortable chanting along yourself, you're still retaining the benefit of it, because you are vibrating and resonating with it. And again, it's all about your intention. So if your intention is open and to receive the full power of the mantras of the chanting, then that's what will happen. And so it can really be emotional, or and that's the other thing people will say. You might have like spontaneous bouts of laughter or tears or whatever emotion comes up. And that's, I think, really powerful and important too, because we store so many emotions that we don't allow ourselves to acknowledge and process in our bodies. And so when we're going through all this movement and breathing and chanting, then a lot can be released, and that's so healthy and so good for us. And so just allowing ourselves that space to be with that emotion and know that whatever it is, it's okay, and it's also just temporary, and allow it to move through and out of you. So Kundalini works on an energetic level, so it's common to experience shifts in your mood or to feel things rising to the surface during a practice. So if you want to consider trying Kundalini Yoga, if you're on a path of self-discovery or self-healing, then it could be an incredible tool. It's known for helping with stress relief, emotional balance, increasing focus, and even physical benefits like improved flexibility and circulation. But beyond all that, Kundalini Yoga is about awakening to the divine essence within you. It's about becoming aware of your own potential and feeling empowered to live from a place of truth and authenticity. So, if you're interested in getting started with Kundalini Yoga, I'd recommend finding a qualified instructor near you if possible. That might be a little bit of a challenge. I know bigger cities probably have more opportunities, but there's definitely a lot online. And my teachers are at the Ithaca Yoga Farm. And I've also been a student of Brett Larkin. And then I will also be starting to put out Kundalini Yoga videos on YouTube and Rumble. So definitely check out. I would, definitely look into something beginner level, and that's where I will start with my videos to provide you with, something that's approachable and gentle, but also powerful. So it can be practiced at home, and especially in the beginning, it can be really helpful in understanding the nuances and the safety of each practice. So that about wraps up today's short little episode, our little intro to Kundalini Yoga. I hope this leaves you feeling inspired and curious to explore this powerful practice and experience the energy, peace, and transformation it can offer. And remember, every step on the journey of self-discovery brings us closer to understanding our own light within. So I encourage you to give Kundalini Yoga a try, open your heart, to unlock your energy, and just see what unfolds. So thank you so much for tuning in today to Light Body Radio. If you have any questions, experiences, or thoughts about Kundalini Yoga, I'd love to hear from you. Definitely drop them down in the comments or through an email. The email is laramay@drlaramay.com, or be sure to reach out on social media, Dr. Lara May, or visit our website, drlaramay.com, to keep the conversation going. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and share the light. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next episode.